Statues.
Bugs.
Unknown.
Snakes.
How are these four things relatively related? Let's talk about that. Welcome back to Relatively Related. I am your host, Troy Penny, alongside
Trudy.
And I'm Tari.
And I'm Terry.
And in today's brand new series, we're going to be talking about fears, specifically our phobias. And but before we jump into that, how are you guys doing? Let's discuss how your weeks went so far.
The week is pretty good. Yeah.
What'd you do?
This week I didn't do very much.
Really?
I was trying to think
But
quickly in my
it's
head.
good
I'm
to
like, I
have
don't know.
those weeks though
Yeah.
where you just do absolutely nothing. It's
yeah.
the best week.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
where your mind can just shut off and just be like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to have
that's
those
true.
type
It
of
was a
days.
mind shut off kind
Yeah, it's okay to have those type of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Watch
okay.
Umbrella Academy.
Oh, that's a great show.
That-
I love that show.
That show is crazy.
Yeah.
Guys.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
it's a-
if you guys haven't seen it yet, you should watch it.
Yeah, it's one of the best Netflix shows, I think.
Yeah,
Personally,
pretty good,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good, and I like superheroes, and it
Yeah.
ties
Yeah,
in
that
with
one.
superheroes.
And the whole world is just weird and like.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
It's different, I guess. Or is it?
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's like
No, because Troy said weird, so I was wondering.
Yeah, like there's a talking monkey in it.
Oh.
That's how weird it is.
yeah, no, it's definitely a good show.
And how was your week, Terry?
Mine's was good. It was actually busier than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm starting to do a little bit of home renovation.
Home renovation.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
Okay.
it's a little bit busy, but I'm enjoying it. You know.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
good.
And like, what are you guys like? Is there a specific room that you're focusing on for the home renovation?
We're transforming my Bella's room.
Yeah.
So we're doing over that room, and then our storage, we're tidying that up. So
Nice.
I'm doing all the prep work and everything like that. Surprisingly, I'm enjoying it more than I should, right?
You feel like a handyman
I
now?
feel like a real man.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I'm just, we're doing some home
Like, yeah, I'm
renovation
like
and all that.
every little thing that I do, I'm taking pictures and sending it to
Yeah.
Jasmine. Be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
look what I did. You know, it's not the best thing, but I'm still enjoying it, right?
Yeah. Okay. I like
That's
that. I like
good,
that.
that's
I'm
good.
excited. Whenever I come over, I'm gonna be very excited to see.
Your work.
I must say, it's not the best handiwork.
Still, I'll
but
be very excited.
I'm happy, right?
That's
I'm
it.
enjoying
Take pride in your work, Terry.
Exactly.
Good job.
Yeah, take pride in
I don't want you guys to think, oh wow, this is gonna. No, it's not. I'm just enjoying it.
Oh man.
Okay. And Terry, how about you?
Yeah, it's been an alright week. Just kind of working, a lot of pressure, like a lot of new projects and stuff at
Oh,
work. So
okay.
yeah, it's been okay. I went to the aquarium this week, at the start of this week,
Way to bury
Where's
the
the
lead,
God.
Terry.
Yeah.
the Ripley's Aquarium. So yeah, that
Oh,
was
how was that?
That was a lot of fun. Seeing the
Yeah.
stingrays and the
Sharks.
sharks and stuff.
Do they have any like big fish there, like big sharks or whales or
The,
anything?
the
of
sharks
that
were pretty big.
nature?
They got pretty big, and the turtles were actually pretty
Oh, I
big
love
too.
turtles.
Mm.
They
I
were
love
really
turtles.
big, like the turtles. Yeah, I knew turtles could get large, but they were
Not that big.
really big ones. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
had like, but in comparison to the sharks, they were almost up there with the size. Yeah, that's how big the turtles were.
Yeah.
Turtles actually live pretty long, which
Yeah,
is
they have
pretty
a long life.
Yeah.
So it was cool, and our son really liked it. We took it for him, right? Because he's into fish and stuff. So he was all excited, like
that's
seeing
cool.
the fish going over him and stuff. It was crazy because like he wanted me to do everything with him, so I had to crawl on the. They had like things where you had to crawl
Kids
through.
crawl space.
I'm like
yeah.
the only adult
Wait,
crawling through the.
it's designed for the children.
Yeah, crawling through
Terry,
the
how tall are you again?
crawling through the space and stuff. Because then he's like, he wants to go, but he wants
Yeah,
me
it's
to
not
go.
wants to
with
go.
So, yeah.
Again, we're focusing on fears today. So my little question for you guys is well, not really a question. I'm just asking you guys for something. Can you tell me a story or a situation where you developed a fear or a phobia?
Okay. I'll go first actually. Mine's is a little bit different. Because I have a fear of snakes, right?
Right.
And previously, I didn't have a fear of snakes. Like, it never really scared me or anything like that. But how I started to have a phobia of snakes is I started to research about snakes. And the more I learned about it, the more fearful I became of it.
Yeah.
And then my phobia of snakes just become like crazy. Like I'm afraid of snakes if I see them.
Yeah.
So, and I know the difference between garden snake and poisonous snakes, and generally speaking, snakes or anything like that, it's not really going to harm you. They're not looking to harm human, but
Right.
it's just a fear of snakes in general. It developed for me learning more about it.
So just learning about it, educating yourself about it is what got you scared of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about you, Trudy?
Well, I think I just realized where my fear developed. So it's bugs. And
there was a
bugs,
present.
right? In particular, though, I think big bugs. So like, I'm fine with like the size of an ant, the size of a
'Cause you
fly,
can
a
kill them
mosquito. I
or
can kill them.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But I think once they get to a certain size, it's like, this is not normal. This is not right.
Would you say like when they're visible, like when you can like see like their wings and their legs and their
Just if they're
like,
too big, like
yeah, like if you could like see
So,
the actual.
but what I was saying is how I realized like what it was like when I was younger, like the building where my grandma lived, they would have like the small cockroaches, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I was fine with those, fine. Like I actually remember there were times like you were small, so it was just me playing, and I play with the little cockroaches,
Oh.
and I'm like, oh look at this one, it's mommy.
Those were your toys.
Anyways, so I would play.
The cockroaches were your toys. Wow.
Okay,
Anyways.
hold on before you continue, guys. I just realized that I have a sister who used to play with cockroaches instead of playing with her younger brother. That's cool.
No, so here's the thing. So I think what happened was, I think when we went to Grenada for like maybe the first time
Those
or so,
cockroaches, they're
and I encountered those big
yeah, they're huge.
flying cockroaches.
Yeah, they're huge.
I think that's what terrified me because
flying
I was used to cockroaches being this small thing,
Yeah.
and then now you're telling me
could
this
fly.
thing that's this
Yeah.
big and
Yeah.
can fly at you.
They evolved.
Yeah.
They
So I
evolved.
think that's where my fear
In
kind
Grenada
of.
and the Caribbean, those cockroaches are pretty big.
Yeah, so I think just seeing that, or when I first experienced that, I think that's where it really started for me.
Okay.
So,
And Ty, what about you?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Harry's Mr.
I know.
Fearless.
No. It's not that. It's just that this question kind of like I'm trying to think.
Stump you?
Yeah, it kind of stumped me. I'm trying to think when I developed
This fear.
like.
Or
So we're
phobia.
talking about our main fears for this
Yeah.
month, right?
Main
Like,
fears and like phobias, because I want people to know that like fears and phobias are very different. Like even
Yeah.
though they sound similar, they're very different. Like a phobia is more so, and I'll even just give the definition of it: an extreme or irrational fear of or aversion to something.
that's a phobia.
That's a phobia, and then your fears are just your fears, things you're afraid of.
But aren't your phobia? Can't your phobia be like a fear as well? Like,
Your phobia can be a fear.
Okay.
It's just a more like it's an extreme version of fear. But like
okay.
fear is more so like you
And more
can
so
you can get
irrational.
over it. Yeah. Your fears aren't really irrational. Right? So like phobias are the ones that are kind of irrational. Like I'll give mine for example. When I was younger, I was in this Catholic school type church thing. Already a boy in a Catholic place is not good. But like I was running and then like I turned a corner and I saw this statue of like an angel.
Oh, that's nice.
No, it's not nice.
It's an
because it
angel.
was like low lit. Everything was dark and like it was low lit and I saw this statue of this huge, humongous angel. And I was just like, this is going to kill me right here. Like this is the end of my life right here. I'm sorry for all those people who listened and you heard that big bump, but like that is exactly what it felt like to me. Like it was like my life and my world came to an end.
It was
and
flashing before your
my
life.
life flashed before my very eyes, looking at this statue.
Angel.
An angel.
An angel made you fear for your life.
Yeah, an angel made me fear for my life. Now I get why, like in the Bible, whenever they
yeah,
appear,
yeah.
they're just like, "Do not be afraid." You know, like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
That's
why,
a good
because they
point.
look terrifying. But yeah, that's where my fear kind of started, and then ever since then, and it's not every type of statue; it's only the humanoid statues. So anything that resembles a human being, that is
what about the gargoyle?
That's okay.
Oh,
Gargoyles
okay.
are fine. To an extent. Like I'll see it, but like I won't like go up to it, or I won't be like, I won't have that fear. But like when it's those, especially those you're saying the Roman
The Roman
ones?
ones with the eyes.
Yeah, with
kinda.
their eyes where you can't see their pupils. Their
Pupils,
eyes
yeah.
are just like blank or white.
So like a statue of Caesar or
a statue of Caesar would
Alexander and those
Yeah.
type of
Yeah. I cannot move in that situation. Like I just
Okay.
can't. I can't. It's bad. It's
Okay,
really bad.
so that's actually that's how you got that fear. I knew you feared statues, but I didn't know like it was from
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know the
experience,
Like-
story behind it.
And I took some time to really think about
I just
it.
thought you were crazy to be afraid.
I mean, yeah, most times people just think I'm crazy, but no, it's just
But no, I understand. now,
yeah, because I mean, just seeing that thing as a child,
as a child, yeah,
and
it
the thing
stuck with you.
I had no one else around me, so I was just like, oh God, what is this thing? And then yeah, so that's where my whole my fear came from.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
What's what's
Do
a
you
fear
have
or a
one, Ty?
phobia? Do you even
Phobia?
have one? Because that
You
Not-
can,
people
I
could
think
not
there
have one.
could, yeah, they might have.
I know. Okay, based on what you said, like I kind of had an idea of
Mm-hmm.
like fears before and phobias, but based on what you said, I would say I do have fears,
Mm-hmm.
but not like a phobia like that. I don't think I have like a phobia like that.
Okay, so then let's just
But
talk about
fears,
your
like for fear, that's why I said an unknown at the start, right? It's kind of like, and it's deeply connected to the concept of death, right? Like the thing about death is like, yes, there are like, in the Bible they talk about it, and there people talk about near death experiences and stuff, but still you personally, you don't know, like you don't really know, right? So it's kind
Yeah.
of like that unknown concept of death.
The only way to know it is you
Yeah.
don't want to
if
know.
you're exposed to it.
But like all the people who have experienced it, no one can tell you, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
experience of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like everyone who experienced this didn't live to
Tell you
to
about
tell
it.
you
It
about
was.
it.
It's weird that you're saying this because I was watching this video of she was this girl who had she had some kind of illness. It was like where you have an overload of overproduction of mucus in your body. I don't know
Oh,
if you know.
cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. Thank God we have a doctor. Sad. But yeah, cystic fibrosis. I think that's what she had, and she passed away. She's passed away like a couple times. Like she said that like she's flatlined a couple times. And she was
Yeah.
talking about what it feels like to die and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting.
it's
That's,
very-
that's interesting. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into too much detail
Yeah,
about it because
yeah.
it's really like jarring.
But even that, like, did she actually experience that, or was it?
I mean,
like you
No,
don't
but
know.
you could be declared medically dead, right? But
Yeah.
not. Isn't there a difference where
Yeah, there's like the whole brain dead
Yeah, versus, like
flatline.
like-
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird
Well,
because someone can die, but they have some brain activity.
Yeah,
they
So,
still
like,
have-
Yeah, so
yeah, so there's that difference, right?
I
So
think hers was more she flatlined. Like,
Yeah.
She
yeah.
di-
And she was telling I was gonna say she was telling me, but she was saying in the video how basically your brain sort of just like shuts down and your brain is shutting down, but like, you just
Oh.
can't do anything
Yeah.
about it.
Oh.
And like she was saying, like in the beginning when it first started, I know I said I'm not gonna go into it, but I already started. But like she said, when it first started, it was very. She was like making jokes about it because that's just how she deals with life and stuff. And then she said it came to a point where it wasn't funny anymore, and like she literally had to do everything that her brain would typically do. So she's like, you need to breathe deeply now. You need to
Oh,
do
wow.
this now. You need to do that
Oh,
now. And it's
wow.
like, she was like, man, like going through that whole moment where you thought you were in control, but then you just like have absolutely no control, and then like you just pass out. Like, yeah, that was her whole thing. But
Yeah, it's-
that sounds scary. to
yeah,
me.
it does,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, right? Like, so for me, like developing that fear, it's I can pinpoint. Well, not pin. Well, yeah, I can pinpoint is the fact that like we lost our father at a young age, right? So I think that's why. And my fear of death is not my own death. Like I'm not scared of my own death. It's the death of someone close to me or like a loved one or something. So it's kind of like it's not me. It's seeing others, and I think, and I guess like if you were to psychologize it, you would say, okay, yeah, it really is because you lost your father at a young age, right?
Yeah.
And you were close. Well, you had a relationship with him. You had a fairly good relationship with him. So seeing him pass away, it kind of passed on. So it's like now when you're close with someone, you're just like, oh man, what if they were to die or whatever, right?
True.
So,
Has this
yeah.
like affected you with just the way that you interact with people and stuff, or no?
It would affect like to make sure that you give people the best at all times because you never know, right, when they'll be gone, right? Like we were away for the weekend or something, and yeah, we weren't. Our dad wasn't we weren't in the house when he passed away, right? So it's kind of like you want to make sure every moment you have with people, you
That
think,
you're
but, yeah.
you're spending the time with them.
Better.
Yeah,
right?
you
And
spend
that's
the
true.
time with
It's
them. Right?
important.
So it's not like I'm not trying to depress you guys.
No, no, no.
No, it's
These are important
just-
things.
yeah,
You
that's
have
an
to-
important thought.
It's just that you would obviously have, based on your past experiences, and it depends on how close you were with the person. Like
Yeah.
your father is like the main
Yeah.
male role
Yeah,
model in
yeah.
your life, right? So
Yeah.
you know, you would, and it's like there would be regrets, like okay, I didn't tell the person that I love them or whatever before they passed away.
Yeah,
So now
yeah.
with other people, you try to make sure you do that, right? So
Okay.
that's what
Wow.
it is. It's just that experience. That's how I got that fear. But with the phobia, I don't think I have phobias per se. But
Yeah.
I wish I
that
could
fear.
be. I wish I could be like you, Tyre, because like to not have this stupid phobia of being afraid of statues.
But you know what, though,
Bugs.
Troy? You know what, though, Troy? What I'm kind of coming to understand, especially preparing this week, like it's not that I don't think they're really stupid. It's just that it's based off of a life experience. Most of them, they're based off of life experiences. So you
Yeah.
develop, it's just, okay, now we got to figure out how to tackle and how to get over them, hopefully.
Yeah.
And hopefully this month with our challenges, we'll be able to to do that, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping because mine, as I already said, is statues, and my challenge. And I'm gonna ask each of you guys what your challenge is, but I'll start off with mine. My challenge is to visit the ROM,
Oh.
which is the
The
Royal
Royal-
Ontario Museum.
And
for
there's a
people
lot
who
of
don't know.
statues in
Yeah.
there. If anyone
Yeah.
And they
don't
have
know.
those like Roman
Yeah.
statues
And
stuff,
what
right?
why I hate this in particular is because I am a lover of art, right?
Yeah.
I typically went to the Ontario art galleries and all those things
Yeah.
because I knew that they didn't really have like too many statues. They're more
Yeah.
focused on like the paintings, and all
paintings.
those things. And yeah, with me going to the ROM, I know that all they focus on are these statues and like images of people and stuff. I hate it so much. And that's how you know I'm an introvert too. I don't even like the fake people. Like I just don't
It's
like
not
people
just
at
real
all.
people.
I also don't like statues. But yeah, what about you, Trudy?
Like
Trudy
What's your-
I
dreading
haven't
this.
been answering like while preparing and setting up this place. They kept asking like, "So what's your challenge gonna be? What's your challenge to each other?" And I'm like, I am not answering this question because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
You have to. You
know.
have
Yeah,
to.
you have to.
I don't know.
Comes
I don't
with
know. Like
practice.
I think the best would be like going somewhere where there's like a bug thing and you have to put your hand in, touch a bug. Even watching something with bugs, like big bugs, like that could be my challenge because it's really hard. I can't even do it. Like
Would you want to
You could
overcome this fear completely?
yeah,
Is that your
I
goal?
would like to.
right.
yes.
So
Okay,
that's the
so-
thing, right? Like it's not like you wanna have the fear for the
I
rest of your
don't.
right. So you gotta embrace it and like you have to practice. You have to practice and role play. That's what I've been. It
And
takes practice. The
it's the
first time it
exposure
might be
to it.
hard. It would be hard, but the more you do it, the more you realize, oh, these are not so bad. Like the more you do it, it takes time though.
So wait, she would have to put a lot of bugs on her. Then.
No, I'm just saying like the first time it might be still intimidating, but like she could keep doing things with those bugs, and eventually I think you will get over it here.
Because as her
Pretty good.
younger brother, I feel like it's my job and duty to put bugs in your older sister. I just feel like that's my.
So you're gonna go out and get a whole bunch of bugs.
I think I'll do that.
So I don't know, but we'll figure out something.
Yeah,
Something where
We'll
I
get something
have
done.
to. Yeah.
You have to
explore.
I
come
was gonna
face to
say
face.
if there, I know there's butterfly conservators, but I don't know if
Butterfly.
there's ones for
No, I'm
bugs.
fine
No,
with
no,
it.
I was
Oh,
wondering
yeah.
if there's something
Oh, yeah, I'm
equivalent
sure-
for
I'm
bugs
sure.
that you
Have
can
them,
visit.
Pretty sure.
But,
But
they
there's
have
bugs
COVID,
all-
so it's closed.
But there's bugs all around, so
Yeah.
that's not a problem.
Like the
No,
thing is, we
that-
can
but
go into the
that's the thing,
forest
though,
and like
guys.
look
Those
for
ones,
them.
those ones don't.
The small bugs, I'm fine with.
No, like them big
The
beetles.
big
Yeah,
bugs.
yeah. Let's go get those
I don't know.
ones.
I'm
Even the
fine.
small ones though, Trudy, sometimes you will just be at the picnic and she just get up and leave. She starts running. Like
Anyways, Terry, what's yours?
me and Tim are like, what's going on? She's
Yeah, like,
just,
why is she
But
running?
I will say that since having Tim, I'm like, I don't want him to be afraid
Afraid
of
of
bugs.
she actually tries.
So
around
if
here.
we're outside or like a bug
That's
comes
good, at
close, I'll
least-
be like, okay, Tim, there's a bug. We can, hi, Mr. Bug. And I'm like dying on the inside. So I'm really working on it.
You're just like, okay, Tim, so that's that bug there, and we're just gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Okay,
much
okay,
that's me.
So Terry, tell us about your fears.
For me,
Phobias.
I actually really enjoy learning about snakes, which is, but I think I'll go to one of those places that have snakes and everything like that. And
you should actually interact with.
oh
them.
no, I have no problem interacting with certain snakes,
Like
like
touching it
The
and
small
garden,
ones?
the garden snakes and everything like that. I'm cool with. But I think my biggest fear is when it comes to like the boa constrictors and the anacondas
Pythons.
and the pythons, those really massive ones.
Mhm.
So if I can just get to like touch one of them, hold them in my hand, just to feel how powerful they are, because I know like.
What if your hand never comes back?
Well, thanks, Terry.
Terry, you're not helping.
Thanks.
You're not helping.
Thanks, because I just have a fear of them like wrapping around my body and just squeezing the life out of me and just
Strangling you.
and just swallowing me whole. So
Yeah, which they can do.
exactly.
Sorry, you're not helping.
So I think if I got to interact with them and be like, you know what, most of the time they're just lazy, don't really bother, I might overcome it.
Okay. Good stuff.
So that's gonna be my.
That should be interesting. Well, for me, like as I mentioned with the death and stuff, what I'm trying to do is, so I was reading that like in order to fear like that, the best way to do it is to talk to people who's gone through those type of experiences. So I've already started asking a couple people to like kind of just sit and talk with them about what it was like, share their experience, how they got over it, the fear, like losing their loved one, and also people who are fearful as well, like sort of strategies and stuff. I think if I talk to like not just one or two, I'm thinking like 5 or 6 people. If I talk to a large number, it would help me realize that it's not so bad. I know it's death, and we always think of, but it's like eventually you move on, and you know things are okay. Like life goes on in a positive way, right? So I really want to have some meaningful conversations with people about that, and really connect and figure out like what is it about that's so scary to people, and people who've actually experienced close ones pass away. How did they deal with it? How did they get past it? Because the people could like get over it really well, like they follow the steps, the grieving phase and all that, and then there are other people who can like hold on to these things for like years and never
really get
they
over
always
it, right?
see their loved ones, they always so yeah.
Okay,
So that's what I'm good. That's how I'm going to tackle it.
I'd be
That's interesting, yeah.
I'm excited to see the type of conversations that you'll glean from that, because
Yeah, and I'll come back and tell you guys like
I think it would be
the main things that the main
you got from
takeaway
it.
is kind of like what I got from it and how I can apply it to myself as well. Yeah.
that's important. So as we get into it, I need to let you guys know that there is a big separation between difference between fear and phobias. Our fears are something that it's kind of hardwired into us.
Okay.
And it's there in order to protect us. If you hear a snap if you're in the forest and you hear like a snap, that like your sense of fear is gonna start to like activate, and it's gonna be like, all right, we need to get out of here. We either need to run or we need to like chill out and stay here. I think that's like fight or flight.
Yeah.
I think. But there are other other responses that you can have, but the ones that I am familiar with are fight or flight. The difference between a fear and a phobia is that, well, fears kind of help us to stay alive, whereas phobias can prevent our lives from going forward, right?
So a phobia would stop you from doing something.
Yes.
And you don't want that to happen. You want to have
Exactly.
a fear, but not a phobia, where it's like actually stopping you from accomplishing something.
Yeah, because again, like fear is it's a good thing, and I know it's weird to say fear is a good thing, but it is a good thing because again, it does help us.
The
helps keep us alive.
hardwired fear.
The
like,
hardwired
yeah.
fear, yeah. So like your fear of things that will put you in immediate danger. That it makes sense to have those fears, right?
Yeah, so like it's funny that you mentioned that because one of the books I read was in the past, and I was like, I can use it for this. It was The Gift of Fears, The Gift of Fear, survival signals that protect us from violence, by Gavin Becker, and in it he actually says that it shows like how you should learn to trust the inherent, he calls it a gift, like the gift of fear, which we sometimes call our gut instinct.
Yeah.
And he's like, by learning to recognize various warning signs and precursors to violence, so what comes before violence and stuff, that those kind of gut instinct is actually placed in us to help protect us. So it's kind of like, as you're saying, it's a gift when that happens. It's certain things that's inside of us that can kind of give us warning signs like this is about to happen. Maybe I shouldn't go down that road at 11:55 p.m. or whatever. Maybe I should walk with a friend or something, like those type of things. It's placed in us. It's a gift that we got to prevent things from happening to us. And yeah, it's a really good book. I would recommend. But as you said that, I just remember.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to survive without fear. Would that be a
No.
fear?
Those
so.
type of hardwired fears. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a fair comment to make.
Because then the next thing too is a lot of times in terms of when they're studying fear, it has to deal with, they look at animal studies too, right? So they tie it back to animal instincts, and that's something similar that we have as humans, like that whole fear mechanism for protection, right, and survival. Animals, you see that all the time, right?
Yeah.
If they hear something, they have certain defenses and maneuvers that they'll do to protect themselves, and that's a natural thing, right? So we need it for
Because I'm
survival.
just thinking some people would just be like, I wish I have no fear. But you
No.
actually
Yeah.
want to have that
Yeah.
fear,
You
because
do.
without it, you're not going to survive
No.
pretty much.
Yeah, and like it's really like as we go through life, we we pick up certain things that it's like it's odd. Like let's say we all just so happen to have like a good relationship with each other, right? So let's say one day Troy calls and he's like, Terry, I'm coming over by you, and Terry's just like, okay, like, and you're like, something was different about how Terry was talking. That's like a signal to you that something's up.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're getting that signal. It's not just that it's something's going on with Terry. So you might be like, you know what? Maybe I should call everyone to come with me. Let's go by Terry and see what's up, rather than just
Yeah.
going alone.
Yeah.
It's like things like that he mentions in the book, like options, like things for like a lot of ladies where like they would call their friends and their friend would be like, yeah, you can come over, and they're like, okay, something's up, there's someone else there, so I need to call. So like these are gifts that's inside of us, like it's like triggers. We know there's a reason you're a little bit fearful. It's like preparing you to like how to avoid those situations. So
Yeah. So another cause for your phobia could be genetics.
Really?
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
not
that's
think that.
interesting.
Another cause, it could be genetic. They said there may be a link between your own specific phobia and the phobia or anxiety of your parents.
Really?
Yeah.
This could be due again to genetics or learned behavior.
So it just
Learned behavior.
learn behavior, I
Learned
guess. So
behavior.
your
But no,
genetic
genetics
could
doesn't-
actually
yeah.
pass it down.
You'll notice, like, especially if there's people where they have like anxiety disorder. If you look at
Oh,
their
okay.
family,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
their grandmother,
a lot
their
of
mother
anxiety
had
in that
anxiety
family.
like that.
Yeah.
Like we might say stuff like, "Oh, those people are like flighty," like like things like
Yeah.
that. We make it light, but Yeah, anxiety is one of those that is hereditary. So
Oh wow.
that's why, again, for
That's-
me with Tim, I'm big on that. I'm like, I don't want him to be like anxious about like bugs
Yeah,
and
yeah.
weird things like that. So
Yeah, please.
it's true when you think about it, if you see your parent is like freaking out every time they see like a
Yeah.
bird.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
kid can
Yeah.
pick
Yeah.
up on that and they'd be like, oh well, this is dangerous.
Imagine if your
right?
kid is
Yeah.
afraid
Oh
of
no,
a
for sure,
bird.
my kids are gonna be
No,
terrified of
not
birds.
that,
For
Troy.
like
No,
most
not
definitely.
that.
I know we don't want that, but like I know myself as well. They're definitely gonna be afraid of birds.
No.
Like a seagull's gonna fly over them, they're gonna be like, ah, like it's gonna be the end of the world.
No,
Just
no.
letting you guys know that. So,
But
yeah.
you can see that for kids because when kids watch or they mirror what
Yeah.
they see their parents doing or whoever
So it's
it
a
is.
combination.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, so it
that's
is
a
a
good-
combination. Like,
So okay, is your mom afraid of statues?
No.
No. I mean not statues. I mean I'm thinking about my
Snakes.
fear, snakes.
Here's my
My
thing
mom
about
is-
my
our
mom
mom
was
is
afraid
afraid of
of
everything.
almost anything. Like
Really?
yes, I'm not even joking. Like anything that you can think about, she's probably afraid of it.
Your mom doesn't come off as somebody.
She doesn't
who's
come
afraid
off
of
like that,
anything.
but Tari
She-
can say
she's afraid of
yeah,
a lot
pretty
of
much
things, yeah.
anything.
Wow.
Roller coasters.
Yeah, roller coaster. She's afraid of. She wouldn't
Bugs.
go. Yeah,
Yeah. Snakes, I'm pretty sure. she's
snakes.
a-
I'm like sure she's afraid of.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now
Yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
to know. That's good to know.
And that's the thing. I used to be, as Terry
Yeah,
growing
Terry
up,
was
I used to
really
be afraid of a lot of things growing up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he overcame a lot.
Yeah.
So you just
Like his
Yeah, you
Let's
beat it.
biggest
talk about
fear
that.
was sticky. There was like these sticky
Lizards,
lizards
yeah.
in Grenada. Like yeah,
okay.
They say if they fall on you, they stick to you. Like you can't remove them from you.
yeah, but
But that would be terrifying for
so
a kid.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
it's
that was his biggest
terrifying.
fear. The lizard
Lizard.
itself.
Yeah. I was
So then, how did you overcome then? Because then I know we're talking about the fact that with Tari, he doesn't really have phobias now. But
He
if
just-
you had
he
them
just
when you
overcame
were
them, yeah.
younger,
Which is
what
quite
did you do?
impressive.
Yeah. What
no, I
happened?
think over time it's just like just realizing that it's I think because as you guys know from like previous episodes, I tend to like think
Overthink,
that
yeah.
lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between so I think I did a lot of thinking. You remember the week and I was like, "Can you not think? How can you
Yeah, how
not
can
think?"
you not
Right?
think?
So I did a lot of thinking, and then I realized a lot of these things are just like
It's all in your mind.
it's all in my mind.
Yeah.
Like it's all in my mind, and so that was really powerful for me. And also actually being around stuff like being around like a lot of bugs and stuff. Like I realized it's not a big deal, right? And like for example, this is weird, but I was really afraid of like hot sauce. I know it's not. It's not. It's like it's a food, right? You wouldn't guess that because now you know I like spicy foods, right? But like I was afraid of that kind of stuff because I'm like, oh, it's gonna burn you, it's gonna go inside of you and destroy you.
I don't remember you
I
having
used to
that
be
fear.
really afraid. Mom would tell you the same, right? I used to be afraid of that stuff. But then what I realized when like I started dating Trudy, she was always into the spicy,
So you're scared. That's why
really,
I didn't know.
really spicy stuff, right? She was really into that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started trying this stuff. I'm like, this is actually pretty good.
So it's because
it makes
he wanted to show he's a
Yeah,
man.
I
you
know, I
know?
I'm imagining Tari the first time on his date and like they're
He's
going
like
for
a
hot
man.
wings and stuff and Tari just like, oh yeah, this is cool, it's fine. Judy's like, why are you shaking so much? Be like, I'm not shaking. What are you talking about?
He just had to do it because
No, I was afraid of eating foods with that stuff on it, right?
What?
Yeah.
I did not know
And so,
that.
but I tried it. I'm like, it
Oh, it's not
actually,
that bad.
like personally, I find it actually makes stuff
yeah, that's
taste
it.
better.
Yeah.
And there's people now like they're like anything spicy, I don't want to touch and stuff. And we always go for the spiciest things. Now. So
Yeah.
that's just an example where it's like it's all about practice. The more you do it, the more you're gonna be like it's not bad. And as you expose your stuff to more things, like a lot of people are afraid of like with food again, like certain cultures they eat like different animals and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like as you expose yourself to those cultures, you realize they've been doing these things for like thousands of years. They're all
Nobody
okay.
died.
Yeah,
Right?
nobody.
Yeah, nobody. They're all okay. So it's kind of like as you expose yourself to more things and have more experiences, the worst thing to do is to shut yourself off from experiences. Because like with fears, it's like it's all about practice and role play. Practice, role play, get comfortable with it. do it some more, do it by yourself. Maybe be alone in your room with a statue.
I don't know about that one yet. Like eventually, when I have the money to, I would like have a hall of statues, and just walk through it.
Just walk through it.
Yeah, but
And then as you practice more, so that's kind of like, for me, I used to, and I didn't like, it's one thing if you just have one fear, but if you just always fear, that's one thing I got from my mom. I used to be fearful of a lot of things. I didn't like that because it's like you're always,
you can't really enjoy a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so that was the physical side. Like, so now it's just dealing with the fear of like people passing away or something.
Which is really good
That's
that you were
actually
able
good,
to overcome them.
Yeah.
That's
that's
good
actually very
advice.
impressive.
Yeah, that's good
Incredibly
advice
impressive.
also.
Yeah.
That shows a lot of brain power, mind power. Because like,
But honestly, it takes time,
It
though.
takes
That's
time,
the main
yeah.
thing. It takes time. It's
And I'm
not
sure
like-
once you were able to overcome the first one, it became easier. And
I
easier.
find it was all like sort of around the same time. Like
Okay.
after like just exposing yourself to stuff, you're just like, oh, yeah, these things are not that bad. It's just I remember watching something. It was like a TV show or something, like a basic TV show, like one of those daytime shows. And the guy was just like, for fears, you just have to. Like he was taking people in these experiences and letting them do it, skydiving. You go skydiving, whatever your fear is, you approach it or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like other people have been doing it and they're fine. People have been walking around statues for years, right? And they're fine. But it might be different for you. It might be stronger for you. So it might take a little bit more like coaxing. or
like
whatever.
a place that I'll never visit, Rome.
Well,
I'm never going to Rome. Another place I'm never going to, Paris. Just
That
all of
too.
it, all of Europe.
Europe,
You're not
yeah.
going there because they have.
But then
so
you're
many
missing out
statues.
of something so
That's okay.
beautiful.
Some-
That's
Something so
fine.
great.
I'll watch it on YouTube. Right? It's cool. Okay, and then the last cause I have here is brain function.
oh,
Right?
okay.
So they say changes in brain function also may play a role in developing specific phobias. Did you guys know that?
No.
Can you explain that to me?
Why
Doctor?
was just like I don't know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, apparently, I guess, like, these things can be, I guess, learned or developed over time, right? And it's good that this was the last one because what we're trying to do is unlearn our fears and our phobias.
Yeah.
Well, more so specifically our phobias and tackling our fears. But yeah, so because we know now that phobias
Yeah.
can be developed as a result of brain function, we can, try to do implement some kind of strategy in order to, get over our fears. So with that being said, we want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure you join us next week when Terry's going to be talking about FOMO. You guys definitely don't want to FOMO on that. And Terry?
Yeah, and those of you on YouTube here, we want you to comment below. Tell us what your fears are currently, or your phobia. What it is. What is it?
Yeah.
And if you learn anything, just hit the like button.
Yeah.
And to show us some support, head over to our Instagram. You can like and also subscribe on our YouTube channel.
See you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.